Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed looking around those various image sites and that you've managed to find something suitable for your business. Now I found something suitable for mine, and the next thing I want to do is add it into my media library, which is why I'm over here on the media tab. Now to do that, it's very, very straightforward. Just click on select files, find the image on the computer and upload it. Now once it's uploaded, double click on it and you can see I've got this guy stretching on the beach, which I rather like, sort of portrays a sense of fitness. Now what we have here are some various details about the image itself, and the one that we're going to use any second is this one here, this URL that I am highlighting. Okay, so we're going to come back to this in a minute and I'm going to show you how to embed this image on your home page, but we've got a couple of things to do first. So what we'll do now is remove this home thing here that's serving no purpose whatsoever. So that's pretty straightforward. Just basically nip over to your Pages tab, edit your home page, and just remove the title and click on Update. If we go back here now and refresh, you can see that's gone. So that's that tidied up. That was very straightforward. Now let's see about getting this image onto our background. Now to do that, you remember one of the plugins that we put together, which was called Site Origin CSS. Okay, now I don't want to get into too much detail with this, but CSS means Cascading Style Sheets, and it's basically a method for websites to improve their look and feel. Alright, so if you've never heard of CSS, simply think about it like that. Now I'm going to show you how to use a little bit of CSS. We are literally going to do some copy and paste, and you will see in the resources section of this lecture there is a file for you with everything you need to copy paste. Alright, so just follow along with me and then use that file in the resources section when need be. Now because we installed this Site Origin CSS, when we go over to Appearance, we get this Custom CSS option. Okay, and when we click in that, we get an editor, just simply something completely blank. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some CSS. Okay, as I said before, this is in the resources section. Okay, now you don't have to worry about the technical details of this. Don't feel overwhelmed. Okay, just follow exactly what I do. Now having done that, we're going to click on Save. And there's two things we need to change. First of all, we want to change this number here, okay? And then in here, we're actually going to refer to the URL of the image itself. So let's find that number. Now, again, that's pretty straightforward. Basically, just go to Pages, and when you hover over this title here, okay, if you look down in the bottom left of the screen, I can't take my mouse away because I will remove it, but if you look down the bottom left of the screen, you will see that it says post equals 55 and action equals edit. Alright, so that's the ID I want. I want 55. So all I need to do is go back to my Appearance and Custom CSS and change this number to 55, and we'll now save it. Now the next thing is this URL of this image. Now that's exactly what I was talking about when we first uploaded the image. So let's go back to Media. Let's click on our image. Now this URL here, if you highlight the whole thing and copy it. Okay, copy that. So right mouse click if you like, copy. Then again go back to your custom CSS and simply paste it in there. Alright, between the speech marks. Click on Save CSS. Now let's go over to the site and see what difference we have. So here we were before. Now when I refresh, I get my image in the background, right? We start to see something that looks a bit more like a professional looking site. So we've got all my stuff in here now, and then my guy stretching below. But I want to make a slight improvement to that. I'd like to actually have this image move up and be shown inside this header area as well. So to do that, we'll go back to our custom CSS and we'll copy paste in the next line in my file, which is this. So this makes the header transparent. So this bit between the slash asterisk is comment. And this bit of code that, again, you don't need to know anything about is going to work its magic. So just click on Save CSS. Let's go back to the site and again refresh. Now look, now we've got the image actually showing as part of the background, as part of the background of the top of the page as well, the header of the page. Now, just as a word, if you are following along with me and you've got your image and you're refreshing your page and you're not seeing this change, make sure, of course, you've got the ID and the URL of the image in there. And if you've got that and it's still not happening, make sure that you clear the cache of your browser, okay? Because if you don't clear the cache, it may be that your image is not going to show. But once you clear the cache, you should see exactly what I'm looking at. Now, I think that looks pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I could do something with the bottom of this image as well. I could slightly extend this, because if we're honest, the way that is cropped, and I could do all kinds of stuff with cropping, but I don't want to get into it right now, but the way that is cropped, it perhaps looks a little bit odd. So I'm going to add in another bit to my custom CSS, which is this bit here. This removes the site footer. Okay, click Save CSS again, go back to the site and refresh once more. And now my footer, that white space at the bottom there, has disappeared and my image is extended somewhat further. Now, there's an awful lot we could do here to improve this, okay? And as I said before, this isn't a course in advanced WordPress design or anything like that. We're talking about building a business. But as I also said before, what I want you to appreciate from what we've just done with a little bit of copying and pasting of code, right, and uploading just one single image, I want you to appreciate the power of WordPress, what it can do. Now, you might be thinking, well, this is really cool. I'm inspired by all this stuff. You know, I want to learn WordPress. I want to learn how to make amazing looking websites myself. But you also might be thinking, well, I don't really have time for that. I want to run a business. My priority is to make money, and I want to get somebody else to help me out with this in the long term. Well, that option is totally and utterly available to you. As I said way back, that WordPress is used by millions of websites, and there are therefore hundreds of thousands of developers out there for very little money that can put together an incredible looking site for you. You know, simply visit Fiverr or freelancer.com or Upwork or any of these kinds of sites, and you will find people for perhaps $50 or less that can do an incredible job on your website. But for the time being, and at least for the duration of this course, I'm going to stick with this homepage because I want to keep focused on building out a business. Now, with that in mind, our next lecture is going to start looking at the navigation system, the menu system, because at the moment we basically have a one-page website. So we want to start putting together the structure of our site into which we are going to drop all kinds of great information. And the structure of the site is super important from two main aspects. One, of course, the user experience. They need to be able to navigate the site easily and find all this great stuff that you've done. And secondly, Google needs to be able to come along and easily index your site so that you start to appear in the search engine rankings and, of course, getting free organic traffic. So let's have a look at all of that in the next lecture.